Right, okay, this morning we're going to try something a little bit different. I'm going to look for a fish and chip shop in a 20-mile radius of Warrington, where I live. Just see what you think and let me know, and if you think this is a good idea. Because I search for the fish and chip shops, not just the most popular ones, not just the most famous ones, but also the ones that don't get the recognition they deserve. And that's important because it's those smaller ones that seem to be struggling the most. Now, I use ChatGPT and I use Grok. I use ChatGPT because it remembers things, so it'll store my preferences not very well, but it will have a go at it. Grok is up to date. So although ChatGPT will find things, it might not find things that happened yesterday. They're both great, and I use them both. We're going to go into Grok, and we're going to type in finding a fish and chip shop within 20-mile radius of Warrington that's unappreciated and has minimal YouTube presence is tricky, since many chippies in that area have gained some online traction. Based on available information and a bit of reasoning, here's a suggestion that fits your criteria as closely as possible. Cantilever Chippy. Now, I've already visited Cantilever, the Plaice station in Padgate, Warrington, located at Padgate Lane, roughly 2 miles from Warrington Centre. Could be a great choice. It's a local favourite, often described on TripAdvisor as a little gem, perfect fish and chips and reliable delivery service. Reviewers praise its fresh, hot food and friendly staff, yet it doesn't seem to have the widespread online fame. Okay, so we're going to the Plaice station. Let's go. Right, as you saw by that this morning, doing a little bit of a search within 20 miles of Warrington. We actually ended up in Warrington. I've never eaten here before, and it's the Plaice station, and it's in Padgate in Warrington. That's the Plaice station. You know what? Absolutely fabulous. Spotlessly clean, plenty of room going on in there. You've got a car park here. So, I mean, it's a paying display car park. There's plenty of it. Or you can just wait a couple of minutes near the entrance there. Or there's a free one just as you go back out, 100 yards around the corner there. And basically, it's a dish. Well, I'll get onto that in a minute. I'm going to try a little bit of this first, because this is my wife's pollock. Okay. How does that look? It's just a standard pollock. I'm going to pinch a bit of this fat end, and I'm going to, look at that. I'm going to wrap it up again for my wife, and she's probably just going to do one with it. Now, I've got hake, so I only wanted to have a little try of this. I wanted to test out the batter. It's not packed with flavour, but it's subtle. It's not meaty, it's quite soft. But again, that had no salt or vinegar on it. So I was getting all the flavours there. I like that. You know, next time I get a chance, I'm going to order a large pollock, because I've got hake and chips and a pea fritter. Now, what I'll probably do sometimes is I'll get mushy peas. But if they do pea fritters, I'll just get a pea fritter, because it's the same, but with batter on it. That looks fabulous, doesn't it? And that's the pea fritter. Oh, that looks quite chunky. And that fish looks a decent size. The chips look just how I like them. As you can see, it's a railway station. They took over part of it. It's no longer used. There's nobody in there. So you can just come up, and if you're getting a train, you just get on the platforms. You can't get in the building. But the Chippy owners, they're going to open up a cafe part next door soon, apparently, maybe this year. So let's break open this fish. Ooh, crunchy batter. Look how white that is. That looks like a lovely piece of hake, doesn't it? And that batter's nice and light. That is roasting hot. I'm going to get some vinegar on it. That is absolutely delicious. You know what? That is really, really nice. But that flesh is moist. It's super fresh. Look at that. slight sea air to it, and an earthy kind of flavour. Back to these chips. Could have done with it being a little bit softer on the inside. Tiny little bit crispier, but I'm being picky. But I suppose that's what I do. Now let's have a look at this pea fritter. I'm going to just break that open so we can see the mushy peas inside. So there's no point in getting a tub of mushy peas if they do mushy pea fritters. Definitely something they make themselves, of course. Peas have got a subtle flavour, some firmness in parts to some of them. And again, in that light, crispy batter. So let's check out their homemade tartar sauce. And look at that, there's tons of chopped capers going on in there. Maybe some pickle with it. As in gherkin or, oh, that's packed. Look at that. It's absolutely heaving. Yep, you can taste the gherkin in there. That is delicious. That batter was made for this. A little scoop at one end. Sometimes you get the tartar sauce and it's very mayonnaisey. Tastes like mayonnaise. It's all mayonnaise. Taste the gherkin there. It's kind of not overpowering, but it's giving that little kick to it. Well, that's lovely. That really is nice. So that was the in-house everything, by the looks of it. Now, they were buying Holland's pies a lot, but they're trying to do everything they can inside, especially now with the hope of opening up that cafe next door and serving the food from there. And that's fantastic. That'd be great, especially for people waiting for their trains. They might get here early. They might have something else to eat. Let's have a little look at this. It's a meat and potato pie. You get a look at that. How good does that look? Right, I'm going to give that a slice. Let's have a little look. And it kind of looks like a short crust pastry, but again, underneath it's kind of suety looking. I mean, obviously the moisture gets through. That's definitely a meat and potato pie, not a potato and meat pie. My wife just swooped in there and took the other half of the pie. Give it back. Put it back. You've got one.
I know.
Two. You're giving it a no? I'm giving it a no. It's a no. That is probably one of the tastiest meat and potato pies I've ever had. I can't believe it's only a few miles from my house. Right, okay, so it's back to the computer before another train comes. Look at some reviews. A low one somewhere in the middle, a high one. Yeah, I'm going to have to tell my children about this because they only live a few miles from here. They're closer to this chippy than I do. And I doubt whether they've ever been. So, yeah, super. Right, okay, I'm just going to mention a little bit about them off their website, which is a great website, by the way. And you'll find the links for that in the description. We are a family-run fish and chip shop in Warrington, established in 2007. Wherever possible, we support our local suppliers, and all our fish is MSC certified for sustainability, which can be traced back to the area and the vessel from which it was caught. The majority of our food is cooked fresh to order when you walk through our doors, so during busy periods, your patience is appreciated. Nothing wrong with waiting a few minutes for cooked to order food. Nothing at all. We are extremely proud of always being awarded 5-star rating from the Food Standards Agency since the day we opened all those years ago. A Northwest winner in Fish and Chip Shop of the Year, voted the best fish and chip shop in Warrington. Accolades we hold dearly to our hearts. Right, okay, let's get on with the reviews. 1 star. Seems awful, doesn't it, going from that to a 1 star, but this is the way I do it every time. You know that I pick a low one somewhere in the middle, a high one, then I do mine. So, 1 star. £19 to feed 2 adults and 2 children. Chips were really poor, everything else wasn't great, not the best service, the meal deals made no sense, very small portions too, overpriced, poor quality, we won't be returning. Now, I mean, I don't know, £19 for 2 adults and 2 children Doesn't sound all that bad, but I suppose it depends where you're coming from and what you've ordered. 3-star. Popped in to see if they catered for gluten-free, and they didn't really seem bothered. Looked quite unkempt and not great signage outside. 5-star. Amazing. Spot on. We ordered for a 7:30 collection, and at 7:30 everything was ready. We ordered a chip munch box and thought we might need an extra small fish and chips. We were wrong. It was all amazing. I cannot fault a thing. Well done to them. P.S. The mushy pea fritters were fantastic. Let me just have a little look at this munch box, of which they talk. Right, it's £14. It consists of haddock, homemade fish cake, battered sausage, homemade... Do I still shout when I say battered? I say battered and I come over quite aggressive with it, and I try to stop that. But let me say it again. Chippy munch box, £14. Haddock, homemade fish cake, battered sausage, homemade mushy pea fritter, chips, gravy, spicy curry, homemade tartar sauce, 14 quid. Sounds like a bargain, doesn't it? Of course, I haven't had that, so mine. It's getting a 5-star from me. There was plenty of parking available, or low paying display, but there was also a free car park just 100 metres from the Chippy. It's part of the disused Padgate train station. The shop was spotlessly clean and tidy. The young staff were friendly and polite. One member of staff, I believe, was the son of the owner, which is always a pleasant sight, another generation continuing the tradition. The food was excellent, although cod, chips and haddock and chips weren't visibly on the menu. Hake was, and pollock was available that day too, so I tried both. The hake was exceptional, fresh, white, subtle in flavour and served in a light crispy batter. The pollock was also delicious, though I'd encourage the staff just to keep an eye on the thickness of the batter on the pollock, well, on anything actually, as it was a little damp and thick on the inside, though still tasty. That was the only issue that I could really find that would have been an issue if I'd have just bought the pollock. Really, I mean, it's something that's easily remedied. Just keeping an eye on that batter thickness, and so that it can cook on the inside. But it wasn't at all bad, and it was absolutely delicious. So the chips were light, crispy and thick, if just a little too firm in some, but delicious all the same. The pea fritters were subtle in flavour, with a light crispy batter and a good size. The in-house tartar sauce was very tasty, with plenty of flavour and not overpowered by the mayonnaise. I love a lovely pie, and their in-house meat and potato pie was something special. I'll buy a few more next time I'm passing. Cooking in oil, hygiene rating 5, card or cash, fish reviewed, Hake and POLLOCK. Wonderful. See you on the next one.
The Chippy Tour, cruising the coast, can't ignore. With every bite, I'm loving it more. Saving the chippies, that's what I'm for. Yo, I hit the road, got salt in my veins. From London to Scotland, through sunshine and rain. Fish and chips in my hand, it's a noble quest. Supporting the classics, yeah, I'm doing my best. Met a bloke in Troon with a tempura squid. A castle in Wales where I had my bid. From mushy peas to battered Mars bar. A culinary Johnny, I'm a food rock star.